Hey, what's up, guys? It's John Schumacher here with Health Jams, episode 7, and today we're chatting it up with Tim Page of Lead Pages. We're going to be talking about building your list, some strategies there for beginners, or for all stages, rather, and then we're going to talk about how to convert those people into customers and buyers for your products and services. So it is September 22nd at 12 p.m. Pacific time, so a little lunchtime special for us out here on the West Coast, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard, so a little earlier start today, but yeah, I hope you guys appreciate the content we'll be bringing on today. We're live, so this is going to be a lot of fun. We're here with Tim Page of Lead Pages, and we're going to have a lot of fun and bring the knowledge nuggets, so to speak, for helping you grow your list, grow your business here today. So that's what we're chatting about, and before we introduce Tim, I want to kick it over to my partner, Michael Bloom. He's got a little bit of housekeeping to go over, and then we'll jump into the content.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm so glad that you're here for our afternoon delight with Tim Page to talk about conversion. So I just want to share a few things. If this is your first time attending a live hangout on air, it's live. You know, we're not Memorex, as I like to say, going back to the old days. This is live broadcast. So funky things can happen with technology. But 99% of the time, if your screen freezes or the sound freezes, just click and refresh your browser, and we'll probably return beautifully to your screen. If we somehow pop off the air and you get the blue screen that says there's nothing there, we'll get back on as quickly as possible. Never worry. And if all else fails, you will get the replay within a few hours after our broadcast is over. So we're going to dive in hot into this topic about building a list and converting those leads, and I know we have a master with us this afternoon to talk about that. Do you have the ability to type into the chat? I'm going to be monitoring the chat. We'll track all questions, and after we get through the content, we will go over all of your questions that you have. So feel free to type in at any time. Feel free to say hello and where you're from, and I'll be happy to interact with you as we go forward. So, John, I'm turning it back to you. Take it away with Tim.
Sounds good, guys. So yeah, go ahead and just, if you can hear us okay, if you're here early here today, just go ahead and type in where you're calling in from. Say hi. You know, go ahead and use our chat bar over here. And feel free to answer any questions. We'll be doing the Q&A towards the end of the session today, but you can pop those questions in anytime. Michael will be monitoring. So say what's up there. And let's get Tim Page on here today. Tim, thanks so much for coming on and talking a little bit about your specialty, list building, and you do a lot of webinars. You do a lot of talks on that topic. So we appreciate you coming by and dropping some knowledge for us today. Let's just have you share a little bit about where you're from, or excuse me, a little bit about you and your background, and then we'll jump into the talk today.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me here. This is awesome and a really cool audience to be a part of and to help. So I'm excited to be here. So yeah, very briefly about me. I consider the most important things. I'm a husband and a dad. So I know that that's not exciting to a lot of people, but to me it is everything. So it's really what drives me and motivates me. I've got a little baby boy. He's about to be a year old, which is just, I can't believe he's about to be a year old. It's crazy. But you know, so what might be interesting to you folks is that I'm the conversion educator at Lead Pages, and what that means is my job is to take a bunch of information that we've kind of been learning over the past couple years that we've been a business, and take all the information that our 30,000+ customers have been learning and share it on webinars, live events, podcasts, and all that kind of stuff, so that you can kind of use the stuff that other people maybe have known, but try to keep like secret in their little squirrely nut thing, you know. And I get to share that with you so that you can use that in your business, and that's really what I spend the majority of my time doing.
Perfect, perfect. So let's boil it down, because a lot of our followers might be in the beginning side of that journey. They maybe don't have a big list yet. They haven't, you know, spent the time and done that yet, or just have had the strategies to effectively build it yet. So let's start with them. And can you touch on maybe some key strategies that people who are just starting out, maybe they have a list of nothing, maybe they have a list of a couple hundred people. How do those folks, what are some strategies that they can use to effectively get started, and what are some of the best ways to do it?
Yeah, so let's start kind of with what I believe to be kind of the best first step, and that is to be actually focusing on generating leads, right? Building your list. If you look at your business as a series of opportunities to get people to take action, and trying to decipher kind of where do I want to drive people. I mean, do I want to try and drive new customers? Do I want to try and drive people to this thing or that thing, or to like comment on my blog or whatever? At the end of the day, the most important kind of first step that you should want people to do is to join your email list. And so what we need to kind of consider is like, what's the basis, what's the foundation for getting people to join your email list? And we found kind of the basis and foundation for everything, but especially with list building, is people always want to know what's in it for them, right? So there's this phrase that you learn in sales and marketing, WIIFM, what's in it for me? And even if people are really giving, and obviously a lot of people in the healthcare industry are really serving and giving, but we're all kind of wired to go, well, what's in it for me? What am I going to get out of this? So you can get people to kind of do whatever you want if you're always thinking what's in it for them. So we found that one great way to serve that is to figure out a pain that people have in your audience and provide something that will solve that pain in exchange for entering their email address. And so this kind of translates to where you see a lot of people giving away ebooks or video courses or all these things, and those are great. But we found the number one thing that gets people to take action is actually a simple list of tools.
Yeah.
So we once we did a test where we split tested a one-page PDF. That was it, just a one-page PDF with a list of, I think it was 4 or 5 tools. We tested that against a video course that took us a month to create, and versus an ebook that took us 2 weeks to create. And that one-page PDF actually out-converted the other two significantly.
Right.
So we've found that if you want to get great results right away and you want to start getting a high conversion rate, start giving away a one-page PDF list of tools that'll take you no time to create. And that should give you a little peace because you don't have to go out there and spend all this time creating all this craziness. Take a half hour, type up a list of tools that will serve your audience well, and put that on a simple landing page that doesn't have a video of you and all these bullet points of copy. No, it can just say, free report reveals the 5 tools to help you do X, Y, and Z. And that's it.
Right. Seems like people love tools, right? I mean, it's like a golf club. People love tools, and it's useful. It's utility for them. I know I was actually on that webinar where you talked about that. I remember, I think for the first time, and I was like, wow, that's interesting. So I just went up, like you said, it took me an hour, maybe a little longer than a half an hour maybe, to write out some of the top 5 tools for healthcare entrepreneurs, and we put that on our opt-in page, and it literally took an hour, and then we just sent it to Fiverr. We had it copied, put together, and put it on our homepage, and it's been great. So you don't have to put anything extravagant out there, and like you said, that's kicking the butts of all these more extravagant video series and all that stuff because people love tools.
Yeah, it's the thing is, if you think about it this way, if I have 2 options in front of me, right? So my 2 options are I can get a tool that once I use it, I'm going to get results because I use it and I get results. That's how we look at tools, right? Or I can get a training, which means I have to go and learn. Once I'm done learning, I have to implement. Once I'm done implementing, it's going to take a while for me to really get the hang of it, so it's going to take a while to get results. And that may not necessarily be the case. I mean, once I learned copywriting, I got results from it right away, right? And I bought tools that never did a thing for me. But there's that subconscious psychological thing that goes on where we say, if I get a tool, it's going to solve my problem. If I have the tools the pros use, then I'm going to perform like the pros, and that's what goes on. You mentioned golf clubs. Yeah. I think that's the perfect example. I know probably 100 people that are god-awful golfers that have like the best golf clubs that you can buy, right?
Yeah.
Because we just want those tools. And so when you cater to your audience like that, when you give them something that will easily solve their problems like that, they will want to opt in. They will beg you to give them that list of tools. And it's so funny because it's so counterintuitive. And so I said this, I think on that webinar, I probably said something like this. The amount of time that you spend on the thing that you give away does not equal the number of people that enter their email address. Right? So don't think you need to spend a bunch of time. Another thing that a lot of people tend to want to do is give away a coaching session. Right? I'll give you an hour of my time to help you, and you can go one-on-one with me on a Google Hangout if you enter your email address. Well, that actually tends to not convert as well as that one-page PDF as well. And so that's really interesting. And so I think the next step here is to get a high-performing landing page up. And a high-performing landing page with a little bit of copy and a button that stands out is really all you need. Right? Just
could I pop in for a second?
Yeah, please.
Would it be okay? Because John, I don't know if you could share. I've shared my screen because I
Yeah, I
want to
got
show
you.
a real live example
Sure.
of this, because I did this myself because I've been at a prior webinar that some of Tim's colleagues have done. And I have the free resource guide reveals the top 5 free caregiver support tools to reduce exhaustion, stress, and overwhelm.
Yep.
So I have this. It's connected to my Facebook page, and this is my biggest entry of folks coming into my email list for my caregiving business.
I love that.
Coaching business. So I just wanted to show a real live example of what it could look like. It really does work.
Yeah, and here's my suggestion. That's a fantastic headline. It's 2/3 of the way there. There's one other thing I would add. So you've got the top 5 free caregiver support tools to reduce exhaustion, stress, and overwhelm. That's awesome because you're telling them you're going to get this list of tools. It's going to help you do this. Now give them a timeline. Right?
Okay, yeah.
So it reduced stress, overwhelm, and exhaustion in 6 weeks or 3 weeks or 1 week or whatever it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see your conversion rate increase because people will now go, oh, great, I can go do this, and then in this amount of time it'll be solved.
Love it. Love it.
All right, a little bit of live coaching from Health Jams. What's up? This is how we do it, right?
Well, this is how we roll, and I like it.
Love it.
Thank you so much for sharing that nugget of wisdom. I'll move on it after we're off the call. So
Perfect. All right. So as far as so basically, you got your landing page, you got your lead magnet, which is your resource guide with top 3, top 5 tools in your industry, whatever that is for you. And really, that's all you need to start building a list, right? And then you get your autoresponder integrated with you can use lead pages, like I'm sure you're going to talk about. But as far as getting people to that landing page, getting traffic to that landing page. Is there a medium that you feel is best? I mean, is it webinars, video, blog posts? Is there anything, if you're a beginner, maybe, that you'd want to start with?
So the interesting thing is, I think that we have a tendency to see people like in our industry that are crushing it and think that from day one they were doing all the right things and that we're crushing it and they started building their list and it was exploding. But what's really funny is that if you're generating 10 opt-ins a day, you're actually doing a great job, and you're outperforming the majority of people that are out there. So what I would say is to start out nice and small, keep your expectations kind of relaxed, and just know that it's going to take a little time to build. And I think great content is the first point, is to generate a lot of great content. And it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to go out and do a blog post every day or a podcast every day or a YouTube video every day. But producing something that people are going to really want, that will, each thing that you produce will solve a very specific problem. If you put that out there and then share it among your audience, whether it's social media, whatever, that is the best starting point that I've ever seen. So Lead Pages actually came out of a blog that Clay, the CEO of Lead Pages, was doing. He was doing a blog and teaching people how to market. And he started that from nothing. He had no followers or anything like that. He started writing blog posts, and people started coming to this blog, and they would see that he had great content, and they would share it, and people would go there, and of course he would have giveaways on the blog, on the sidebar, and stuff like that, and it evolved from there. But I really believe that if you have great content that's shareable, that will help people solve a really specific problem and clearly solves that problem, that's a great place to start driving traffic. And later, you can evolve into kind of more advanced things like Facebook ads and all this kind of stuff. But start with content, grow your stuff organically from there. And you mentioned webinars. I love webinars. I think webinars are the fastest way to grow your list. And you guys have kind of experienced that with your Hangouts. But I also think that it's really key to get your automated marketing in place before you start doing webinars. Get a landing page up, and then get something for your followers as they opt into your list. Have something for them, some kind of automated sequence, and we can dig into that if you want. But have that going first, and then start doing webinars.
Gotcha. Yeah. So we will touch on setting up that kind of automated email sequence for when people opt in just a few minutes. But would you recommend? Is there a particular medium that's more effective than the others? Like, let's say because personally, I like video. I like video, and I don't mind doing live video. I don't like writing blog posts. It's so draining to me, and I'm just a talker. I don't like taking that much energy and time to put that out. Only when I'm in the mood for it, I guess. But if I had to do one a week, I'd be like, this sucks. So is there Is there like a particular medium that converts better to like people opting into your offer? Is it video, live webinars, blog posts?
Yeah, so I would say I don't think there's one that converts better, but I'd say there's one that converts worse, and that's podcasts. Believe it or not, podcasts are the most difficult to drive opt-ins.
Yeah.
So you'll see a lot of people that are like, obviously we've got a lot of friends in the podcasting industry, John, and that's great, and I love podcasts. They're a great way to create great connections and engagement, and podcasting is amazing for so many things, but for driving opt-ins and driving business, it's actually kind of a slightly subpar medium. So to answer your question, I think it comes down to what is it that your skill set is best suited for, and beyond that, what is it that you like doing? Because you'll find that the things that you like doing the most are going to be the things typically that you are best at, right? So John, you do a great job with videos because you love it. You prefer that over typing out a blog post. I cannot stand writing. I can't stand it. I would fight to do anything other than writing. I love doing video. I actually am not a huge fan of doing live video myself. I like webinars with a where I'm sharing my screen. I prefer that. And I love audio. However, audio doesn't convert as well. So at Lead Pages, what we find the highest conversion for us, and again, this is just particular to us because we've got a team of people and everyone is doing what they love doing. We found that a blog post with the video in the blog post tends to convert the best. But again, the reason why our blog posts with the videos convert so well is because we give away something very, very specific to that blog post. And the highest converting blog posts for us are the ones where we give away templates. So Lead Pages, for people that don't know, is basically software that allows you to deploy landing pages and webinar registration pages and sales pages and stuff like that. So what we'll do is we'll do a video that will be like, oh my gosh, we have just created this page that got us X, Y, and Z results. This template is amazing. We've put it inside of our software so you can go ahead and use it in our software. But if you want to just download it and use the template right now, you can download the HTML for this template below the video. Just enter your email address and you can download it. Those convert really well for us because, again, there's that tool thing, right? It's a template people can use right away instead of like a training or this or that or the other thing. So that's converted best for us. But again, if you are an awesome audio person, if you are awesome on video, if you're great at doing webinars, if you're great at writing, do that thing and maybe hire out or have somebody else do a guest blog post, that kind of thing. But you will find that what you're best at is what converts best for you.
Right. Yeah,
I think that's fantastic. I'd love to pop in for a second. You answer this, Barb, to pop in with the question about do webinars drive opt-ins better than podcasts? And Tim, I think that's great. One of the things that John and I like to talk about is the great thing with webinars, and especially with this live Hangout technology that we're using, or even the system you guys use. I know at Lead Pages use GoToWebinar. Is those webinars can be repurposed into podcasts.
Yes.
You're kind of getting dual purposing. Or there's more purposing that can be done too. And for those that you don't like to write, I love to write, so John and I balance each other out because he loves doing video, I like to write, so we make a good partnership in that way. But again, the stuff that you do in these live webinars can easily be transcribed and turned into an ebook. So for those that like to read, there's so many ways to repurpose. I think webinars are the most powerful platform out there that can be reused in many different ways and convert at the same time.
I love webinars. I think that webinars are it's hard for me to say this because it really depends on the person in the industry, but I think that almost any industry can benefit from webinars, and I think that they can be the most powerful tool for growing a business. But I'm going to say that with a warning that it really depends on your business and your skill set and your audience, and I encourage anytime somebody makes a blanket statement like that, I encourage people to take that with a huge grain of salt and consider their own audience and test, see what works. Because, and I meant a blanket statement like mine, not like yours.
Sure. No, interesting.
But I think that it's important to test because every audience is different, every industry is different, every presenter is different, and you might find that for whatever reason webinars don't work well for you. I would find that hard to believe, and I would think that it might be what you're doing rather than webinars as a tool that don't convert. But just to give an example, so at Leadpages, I've done now, I just counted the other day, I think I just surpassed 110 webinars for Leadpages.
Holy shit.
And I've been with Leadpages only this year. I started in January. So just to give you an idea of how many webinars that we've done, because webinars just crush it. They kill it. They've grown our list faster than anything. They have gotten us more sales than almost anything. In terms of event-based marketing, they've grown our business more than anything else. However, still, our list has grown more as a result of our blog. Our business has grown more as a result of our blog because it's evergreen. It's always working around the clock. So I think that if you're looking for one place to start, I would start with whatever that medium is that you're good at, whether it's blogging or podcasting or video marketing, whatever. Start with that and then expand and start doing webinars, start doing Google Hangouts. And again, I think you can do them in conjunction with each other, but I know that some of the people on this call are brand new, and a webinar can be extremely scary if you're brand new. So start with your skill set and then expand out from there. But I'm not saying don't wait 2 years, don't wait 5 years, don't wait 10 years to expand. Get comfortable with doing blog posts a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then get out there and start doing webinars. And you know, you don't have to do crazy planned out things for webinars. You don't have to go out and, you know, plan out this 2-hour-long crazy thing. You could do something as simple as invite your audience to a webinar and just say, I'm going to do a Q&A. And I've got 60 minutes blocked out. And if we're doing 10 minutes worth of questions and nobody else has any questions, great. It's going to be 10 minutes. But I'm going to answer your questions. You come on, ask them, no holds barred. I'll answer whatever questions that you have. And if people come on and ask you what your birthday is, answer that question, right? If people ask you, you know, how did you get into the business, answer that question. But what will happen is if you're in an industry where people have questions and it's confusing, which most of us are, healthcare is one of the most confusing industries I think I've ever been a part of. People are going to have questions. You can get on, you can answer their questions, you'll make them feel amazing, and it will grow your list so fast. I mean, you were talking to me about this before. Your list has grown so much as a result of doing these Hangouts, and that's exactly what's happened for us.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can we before we launched our boot camp, which is starting tomorrow, we actually did 2 Q&A sessions with people, and we literally just, you know, got the word out and shared it. We did a little bit of advertising on Facebook ads, but basically went through our own organic reach, and I think we ended up building a small list from 0 to maybe 150 people in a month. You know, which is pretty good for most people. You know?
That is really good. Listen, like I mentioned, 10 a day.
Yeah.
10 opt-ins a day is more than most people will ever get to, and that's not a bash on anybody, but you know, again, we hear all these big numbers. You see the Leadpages list, we've got 130,000 something now, right? And you see that and you go, oh my God, 10 a day, I'll never get to 130,000. But it starts with 10 a day, and it grows from there, right? I mean, you know, just to give you an example, before Leadpages, I was studying Leadpages stuff like a freak. I was reading the blog. I was watching all of Clay's videos. I was doing all that stuff. And I was generating 5 to 6 opt-ins a day, okay? And I was like, God, I suck so bad, right? But it's really a great place to start, and then it expands outwardly from there.
Right. So let's see here. What are some specific technical tips? Let's talk about that. Let's start with a blog post. Like, what are some tips you could give for somebody who's a blogger who wants to build their email list and convert their readers to opt-ins better?
So you want tech tips or like copy tips or what?
Let's do layout tips.
Okay.
Like, you know, where to put an opt-in or whatever, and then copy. If you want to touch on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, so we found, and again, I like to speak from experience as opposed to kind of like guru advice. This is what would work. You know, what we've found experience in is, or success in is, at the top of our post, a nice big image that shows maybe, you know, because this is for the podcast I'll talk about. We have a guest on our podcast, and the guest will share some tactic that's worked for them, right? And so we'll have an image of them with the title of the podcast episode, which is typically something that's similar to what you'd find in a headline for a lead magnet. So we'll do that, and we make that clickable. When somebody clicks on it, an opt-in form appears, and that's a feature that we have at Leadpages called Lead Boxes. Yep. If you're not using Leadpages, you could have that, you know, have them click to a landing page or something. But again, we found a higher conversion rate with the opt-in form that appears. So that's the first thing. The second thing is right below that image, there will be a little box that I can't remember what it's called, but it's a WordPress plugin that makes something stand out, and it'll be something along the lines of, notice. We have the free technique that so and so used to get X, Y, and Z results. Click here to download that technique. And they click on that, and an opt-in form appears. And it's the same exact opt-in form that was above it. It's the same exact one. So it's 2 opt-in opportunities right at the top of the blog post. So start with that, because that's a great place, because the first thing people are going to see is something that would be valuable to them. Then get to your – did you want to interrupt, John? Did you have something? Okay. Then get to your blog post. And let me say this about blog posts. Our attention span – right now, as humans, in the States especially, but everywhere, our attention span is awful, right? It's absolutely atrocious. When we're watching TV, we're also on our tablet and our iPhone and, cooking dinner. Like, our attention span is awful, right? So you need to remember that when you're writing a blog post. So what's not working is big blocks of text. Yeah. They don't work anymore. Yeah. Right? You used to go to a blog and you would have, this big block of text and then another big block of text and another. So make this is the best advice I've ever gotten, is make your paragraphs like 2 sentences, maybe 3 sentences. Don't let your paragraphs go beyond 3 lines. Make it nice and concise, and make sure that everything is kind of headlined and subheadlined, and make sure there are bullet points. Make it interesting so that people's eyes want to keep moving down the page, because if you don't, people are never going to read your blog post. It's just not going to happen.
Right. Yeah, Make it scannable, right? You want to make it scannable. Yes. I know I'm a scanner. I'll look through the blog post first. If a headline doesn't grab you, they're probably going to leave.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, I'm obsessed with this blog, Effortless Gent. It's all about fashion, because I am a non-fashionable human being. I am happy in a t-shirt and shorts all day long, but I'm trying to improve my game. As you can see, my little fine collared shirt here and a sweater, right? So. But I love that blog. And even that blog that I'm obsessed with, I still need to kind of scan down a little bit, see if there's something that catches my eye. And if it's big chunks of text, I'm never going to see the valuable stuff in there. And if the opt-in form is some ugly Aweber form that's and we've all seen this awful Aweber form that's it's blue and it's got this crappy block button and it says name that's aligned to the left and little, oh my God, it's awful. We've got to remove this stuff. We've got to remember people are discerning. We have a discerning audience. They want to read something quickly. They want to scan through it. Make it easy to do that, and have the opt-in form everywhere. And I don't mean the visible opt-in form. I mean like a lead box. And really, there's no reason to not use a lead box. It's $37 a month to get lead pages. I'm not trying to sell lead pages, but seriously, you need to have this lead box, because you can put an opt-in form anywhere you want. By the bottom of the second blog post on conversioncast.com, we have 19 opt-in opportunities.
Holy
19, cow. Right? Imagine if we had 19 opt-in forms visible by the bottom of the second blog post, right? If they were just opt-in form, people would come to our website and be like, this is ridiculous, and leave. But when you have that ClickUp box, which we call lead boxes, when you have that, well, it doesn't even look like it. You can't even tell. If you went to conversioncast.com right now, you don't see one opt-in box. But you see a bunch of things that are offering something that people can download for free. And that's what has made our blog posts at ConversionCast perform so well. Our average blog post at ConversionCast right now is converting around 70%.
Holy cow.
Wow.
That's insane. Yeah, lead boxes is awesome. We've played with that a little bit, but we need to up our lead box game, I think. What you're just dropping here is holy cow, 19, and people aren't turned off at all by that. That's awesome, man. So 70%. Jeez, they can't help but click on it.
Yeah, that's
where do I click? There's a lead box.
Yep, you can't really go anywhere without. I mean, I made this joke at Podcast Movement where we finally got to meet in person. But I made this joke. It was we actually put our episode downloads behind an opt-in wall on our blog. So for ConversionCast, you can go to iTunes and download it for free. You can go to Stitcher and listen for free. You can go to SoundCloud and listen for free. If you go to our blog post, you can listen for free. But if you want to download the episode there, you've got to enter your email address and opt in, because we have all these opt-in opportunities, and people will do it. We're getting a few opt-ins every single week from people that are opting in to download the episode, which they can download anywhere they want for free, but they want to download it on our blog. They've got to opt in. And it's not scammy. It's not shady. It's offering people value. People can possess things now, but you're just asking for an email address. And then you know that if you're providing value in your follow-up, then it's totally worth it for people to opt in.
Right. What about podcasts? I mean, there are some people on here. I think we have a couple of. I know I had a couple of nurse practitioner friends who have podcasts, and they were wondering about converting in that. And I know you touched on it at your speech at Podcast Movement of how you can basically either in the outro or something be giving some kind of a verbal pretty link or something you can give people to go to an opt-in free offer at the end of your podcast, and that we should be doing that when we're podcasting. Is there any other strategies, or is that the main strategy for list building through a podcast?
So one thing that we're testing right now, but I can't say if this works yet. We are literally testing this as we speak, and I'll even kind of throw this out there now. So we do a webinar. Okay, so like I mentioned, I do a lot of webinars, and we do one every single week at Lead Pages, and you can join it by going to leadpages.net, and there's a link for a webinar. You can join that way. And I could say, if I'm on a podcast, I could go, hey, go to leadpages.net/webinar. I don't think that's the right link, but I could say that, and people could go there. But if somebody's listening to a podcast while they're driving, they're not going to take out their phone and go leadpages.net/webinar. And I'm a big, what's the reverse of proponent? I don't know. Opponent. Duh. No kidding. So that's live. Gotta love live. Yeah,
Michael's the writer there.
Yeah, right. I'm a big opponent of texting while driving, and so I don't want to encourage people to be doing that. I don't like people, like when I'm in a car, if somebody's like on their phone looking on the internet. I've been in a car with somebody on Facebook while they're driving. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Right? And so I'm not a big fan of that. So let's give people an opportunity to remember something easily, right? 38470, you can remember that, right? Let's give people that opportunity to do that. Let's give people, if they're doing the dishes or if they're at work and they're not going to just go to a website and opt in and scroll around and all that kind of stuff, let's make it really easy. So I'll tell you right now, you can try this and experience it. Go take out your phone and text Lead Pages to 38470. 38470. Text Lead Pages to that. You're going to get a text in response that says, great, we'd love to have you on our webinar. Just respond with your email address. And you text back with your email address, and you'll be registered for our webinar, which is awesome. And now that gets added to our email list in Infusionsoft. So now people can text to be added to our email list, which is great. And for podcasting, there's almost nothing better. Now, we just started doing this, so I don't have conclusive results, but I only assume that it's going to work really well.
Sounds like it, yeah. So everybody, yeah, let's try it. I'm going to try it right now. Tim, what was the number again?
38470.
38470.
Yeah.
Put it in as a sticky note, so everybody should be able to see it. It's text Lead Pages to 38470.
Yeah, and I love this because it's so easy, it's so simple. Lead Pages to 38470. People are used to doing this. I mean, Redbox has this, right? Target does this, where my wife does this all the time. If you text, like health to whatever their number is, I can't remember what their number is, but they'll send you a bunch of coupons for health supplies, and big companies are doing this, but we as podcasters, we as small business owners, we're not doing this stuff, and you can do this. We use a tool called Call Loop, but there are lots of other options out there. We just use Call Loop, and Greg Hickman from Mobile Mixed is the guy that kind of suggested this and taught me how to do all this stuff. This is really cool stuff for podcasters. Now, if you're not using that, right, if it's a little too sophisticated, which it may be for some people, I'd encourage you to simply have a landing page, go out and get a domain name that is, if you've got a podcast and it's called like the Health Podcast, right? Go get healthpodcastgift.com. Get your podcast name and gift.com. Have that direct to a landing page that is a simple landing page with that list of tools that I told you about earlier. Give away a list of 3 tools or 5 tools or something, and direct people to your podcast name gift.com. And people can go there and they can opt in to get your gift. And we're seeing pretty good results from that from ConversionCast. I mean, I think our podcast gets about 50% of the people that go to that URL opt in, which is really not bad when you consider that it's a podcast.
Right. Absolutely. Cool. Well, let's as we're getting towards the end here, let's wrap up. Let's talk a little bit about email sequence. So, like a lot of people. Obviously, we've talked about having a landing page, a lead magnet, getting some techniques for getting people to that landing page to opt in. What about once they opt in now? Once they opt in, they're on your Aweber, your Infusionsoft, your MailChimp, whatever you're using. And they should be getting a sequence of emails that share their story, share some value, but also promote your products and services. Can you touch on some strategies for setting up your email sequence effectively and some best practices there?
Yep. So we have found that what worked best for us, and we've tried all sorts of stuff. We found that once they opt in, set up your autoresponder to deliver an email every 3 days. All right. So every 3 days, not every day, not every week, but every 3 days, for a minimum of 6 lessons to start. And this is kind of your initial sequence. Somebody's going to opt in, and then after they opt in, on day 3, after they opt in, they're going to get an email. On day 6, they're going to get an email. Day 9, they're going to get an email. And each of these emails will have a link in them that will link up to a page that has a video lesson on it. Okay, so I don't know what everybody's kind of marketing on this show, but whatever people are marketing, whether it's their services, whether it's their products, whatever it is, you can send them to a video follow-up sequence that is basically a course. So imagine if I said to you right now, John, I've got a free PDF that's going to give you the 5 tools that you need to take your Google Plus Hangouts from 100 people to 10,000 people in only a month.
Right.
You would opt in for that, right? Now, 3 days later, imagine you get an email that says, "Hey, John, I hope you enjoyed that list of tools. I've created a free video course for you that this course is designed to show you how to convert every one of the people that joins your Google Plus Hangout to a paying customer. The first lesson is going to talk about how to create trust in the first 5 minutes of your Google Hangouts. Click this link to watch that video." Right? Okay. And then in the PS, I'm going to say something like, "Hey, don't worry. Video 2 is going to tell you how to get people to stay on the entire Google Plus Hangout so you make sure they see your offer. We'll be sending that in just a few days. Keep an eye on your inbox."
Right.
Okay.
Foreshadow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So you're setting them up for your existing lesson and making it really enticing for them to join it. And then the next one, you're telling them about the next one.
Yeah. Are you so do you try to sell within these, or you don't try to sell? I mean, when I say sell, I mean share your offers and stuff like that. Because I've heard some schools have thought that you should be sharing your offer in each email. Is that kind of what you guys do, or how does that work?
Yeah, so to avoid a rant, I'm not going to give my opinions on selling versus all this kind of stuff and all these things. I think that everybody's got to stop being so afraid of the word selling because everybody's selling. We're all in business, right? I'm not picking on you, John, but like lately I've had all these people like, well, I'm so afraid to sell. Like, well, then you're not in business, right? But anyway, so we can dig into that wormhole. But so yeah, we do sell on every single video. We've got an offer at the end of every single video, and there's a button below every single video in this follow-up course, because the thing is, I don't want to make it difficult for people to buy stuff, right? If they watch this video, they get a lot of value out of it, and they believe that they could get more value out of lead pages, I want them to buy lead pages, right? Mm-hmm. If you've got a training course that's going to teach people how to do X, Y, and Z, and you know that it's of value, you have a responsibility to get that person to buy it, because if you don't, you are taking away the opportunity for that person to have a better life or a better business or whatever it is that you're selling. So yeah, we sell on every single one of the videos. Now, we have found that the highest conversion rate comes between video 4 and video 6. All right, so it does sometimes take a little while, at least for us, but everybody's business is different. Some people are going to find that video 1 is the highest converting because people watch the video, holy crap, this is awesome, and buy.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So basically, you have a welcome email. Then you introduce this teaching sequence basically with an offer into each of these emails, and you do 6 of these. And then is that it, or do you set up further auto response from there?
This is going to depend on your business. So one thing that's beautiful is that's a great way to start that campaign. Yeah. And then from there, you're going to have your regular emails where you tell people about your new promotions. You're going to tell people about your new blog posts, that kind of stuff. And occasionally, you should sprinkle in new things, like sprinkle in another course that's going to teach people how to do something else that's going to solve their problem. Tell people about some awesome event or whatever. But that's really where we start, right? We start with that 6 video course or 8 video course or whatever you're going to do. And then from there, you can branch off and continue providing more value. Just make sure whatever you're doing is consistently providing value. Even if you're making an offer, there should still be value there.
Right, absolutely. All right, Michael, what do you think? You going to take some couple questions?
Yeah, we have a few questions that have come in. Cool. This would be a good one to cover this one for Barb right now. What is the interplay between social media and the lead pages? And what are tips for using that for new businesses?
Yeah, so we are in love with Facebook. All right, I mean we use everything. We use Google Plus for about 1 million different things. We use Twitter for everything. We've got like the lead pages and the lead pages support Twitter, and then the Conversion Cast Twitter. We've got all this stuff, but we are in love with Facebook. It has done so much, and so you'll notice with lead pages, you can publish a lead page directly to a Facebook tab. Directly to it, because we found that Facebook, if people come to your page, if you promote, say, on your Facebook and you say, hey, we're doing this great webinar, blah, 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 you should join it, click this link. If that link takes them to a Facebook tab, they're more likely to register for that webinar because they're in Facebook, they feel comfortable, they're already logged in, it's ready to go. And the beautiful thing about lead pages is you can set it up so that lead page, if somebody is logged into Facebook, a lead pages page can use their already logged in Facebook information. And that's the email most people use anyway. I use my regular email as my Facebook email. So if I'm logged into Facebook and it pops up and it says, download this, whatever, and you don't even have to enter your email address, you just have to click register or opt in or whatever, the conversion rate will skyrocket. So we really play a lot with Facebook, and we found that the results from that are amazing.
All right. What else we got, Michael?
That's great. And also earlier, when we were talking about emails, Barb had mentioned she's been seeing messaging and emails from marketers about configuring Gmail so their emails are seen. And what challenges will we have with a list that we've never emailed to? So I guess getting started.
So the biggest thing is just a lot of people will ask, like, should you do confirmed opt-in? I get asked this all the time. Should you make people confirm their email address? And my answer to that question is yes. You should make people do that to comply with a lot of the anti-spam laws and stuff like that. My caveat would be is that it really also depends on your business and what your goals are. But I would really encourage people to have that confirmed opt-in, because when people are on your list, you want them to want to be on your list. And in fact, you almost want people that are not almost, you want people that don't want to be on your list to get off of your list. You want people to unsubscribe because you want that list to be people that really are interested in your message, that are potential buyers and stuff like that. So I guess it sounded almost like people are concerned about getting their emails read, and I would not be the person to ask about that. But there are certain you can kind of check it out. I think we have it posted on our blog, but there are certain keywords and stuff that you don't want to have in your emails. Like I believe free is actually bad to have in your emails and stuff like that. But in terms of initially in building your list, if you're providing a lot of value and you're giving people opportunities to get off of your list, you're going to have a pretty high quality list.
Perfect. What about some people who are a little scared about using video? Maybe you talked about the teaching sequence and the email follow-up. Now that could just be on a regular text email basis as well, right?
It could, but we have found the video sequence to convert better. So if you're afraid about being on video, here's what I encourage you to do. Buy that microphone you see on John's screen, all right? It's the ATR 2100, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So that was the first mic I ever used when I podcasted. In fact, if you ever listen to Entrepreneur on Fire, you'll hear the intro is my voice, and I used that mic to record his intro. It's a great mic, and it's like $50 right now. Yeah. Okay, it's super cheap, and it sounds amazing. Go out and get that. Then go out and buy ScreenFlow if you're on a Mac, or I think it's Camtasia if you're on a PC.
Yep.
And open up a PowerPoint and create a PowerPoint presentation that shows. Doesn't have to be a ton of slides. It could be 5, 10, 15 slides that will solve somebody's problem, and talk over the slides and record it. Use that as your video. That's enough. If you're afraid of having your beautiful face on camera, just do that. Talk to a microphone that shows the screen. That's all you need to do.
Right. Yeah, and you can even do one better. Is I have Camtasia. It's about $300. If you're on a really tight budget, like you said, buy the Audio Technica. It's about under $60. Then all you have to do is you can use Google Presentation and full screen presentation for free, and use a Hangout on Air screen share, and then start doing that, and you can clip out the ends in your YouTube editor. There you go.
That's
$60 for a mic, and everything else is free. Create your video. There you go. So
that's a great way to start. Just don't be afraid. I mean, let me take that back. Be afraid. I mean, my speech at Podcast Movement was my first time speaking on stage, and I mentioned that when I was up there, and I was shaking. Okay, I've done over 100 webinars, and I was shaking to talk in front of people that that room was smaller than most of my webinars, okay? I was in a touring band. I played on MTV in front of over 1 million people. I played at festivals in front of tens of thousands of people. But yet, I got in front of that room of, 100, 150 people. I don't know how many people were in that room. And I was shaking my pants off. So it's okay to be afraid, but use that fear to kind of motivate you. Because when, I think it was Grant that told me this before I got on stage. It might have been somebody else, and I apologize if it was somebody else. But that said, if you're not afraid, it means you don't care. Mm-hmm. So you need to be a little afraid. You need to be a little bit nervous. Get up there and get in front of that mic or get in front of that camera or do whatever you got to do. And just know that remember how much value this is going to provide to your audience, and remember how much it's going to provide to your business, and just do it.
Right, absolutely.
That's a great piece of advice, Tim. And I kind of had the opposite because I'm used to speaking live in front of groups and running coaching groups, and even I've been keynote speaking in front of large audiences. And when I do that, I still get nervous a little bit when I get on stage. But before I started doing my first videos or video webinars, I was shaking because, again, I was afraid of the technology. Don't fear any of that anymore because I got in and did it. It comes with practice. You just got to start doing it, and that's what we're encouraging, more people to do that we have the privilege to support. It's just you got to get started somewhere, and you know what, you're going to make mistakes. And when we're doing things even live, we could stumble over our words. I actually had my mic take a spill a little while ago. I mean, things will happen when you're live, and that's okay because I think people understand because we're human. You don't have to be perfect, but being real. Be real, and I think that's a big key. I just want to get back to a couple of the questions that came in here too, which is another question came in is Barb was also thinking about the difficulty getting Facebook to show our posts because we know fan pages don't show posts too readily now organically to our 1,100 fans that started with most small businesses last December. But what you're saying, Tim, and I have this on my fan page, when you connect it up to lead page, and what I showed as my example early on in this show was actually a lead page that's a tab on my Facebook fan page that people get the free care guide. So it's not an individual post. You can link it and make it a post, but it's a tab. It's a standalone tab.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly right. And I know, unfortunately, Barb, I know that doesn't answer your question because you want to get your post seen by more people and stuff like that. I am just unfortunately not a social media expert. So, but I will say that we've gotten amazing results from Facebook, from that tab, and driving traffic from Facebook, whether it's sponsored posts, whether it's ads, whether it's even just our regular posting on social media and driving them to that tab. That's where we've seen a lot of great results. But how to get people to see more of those posts, I'm really not sure, unfortunately.
Yeah, and for email automation, just another question that came in, there's all kinds of email providers out there. Infusionsoft is one of the big ones. It's kind of the Cadillac, I would say, of email providers. We use Aweber. If you're just getting started, MailChimp is okay as an option. It's free initially for so many subscribers. I know a lot of newbies that get started with MailChimp. But there are a number of different, there's Entreport, there's a lot of different ones that are out there. You just explore and use what's best for you. I personally love Aweber. I've been with it for a few years, and but again, it's really personal preference of what your needs are.
Yeah, so I'll say this. So if Infusionsoft is the Cadillac, Aweber is like the trusty Jetta, right? I mean, it's like it's been around for a long time. It's worked for a lot of people for a long time. If you are just starting out, I would really encourage Aweber. I would not. I actually don't have a problem with MailChimp. I like MailChimp, but I would encourage you to not go with the free plan because the free plan doesn't come with an autoresponder. I didn't know that.
Oh.
I thought that you could just sign up and use the autoresponder. I found this out a couple of weeks ago that you can't use the autoresponder with a free account. So go with MailChimp if that really calls to you, but just get the paid plan. It's probably $9 or $19 a month. Do that. It's the same thing as Aweber, but definitely get something with an autoresponder. And yeah, I would agree with you there. Definitely something like MailChimp or Aweber to start with. If you are a sophisticated marketer, you're probably not, I guess, necessarily asking about email service providers, but if you are, I mean, we love Infusionsoft. It's got a steep learning curve, but it allows you to do anything that you could ever want to do. But if you're really new to marketing or to internet tools, please don't jump right into Infusionsoft. You will get so confused. I'm still learning how to use it, and I've been in marketing for about 12 years. So.
Yeah. Is it a pain in the butt to transfer your list? Let's say you built a list of 3,000 people or something in Aweber, and now you want to move to Infusionsoft. Is that a hassle or?
I would get some help with it if you've never done it. It's not the easiest thing in the world. You can always just export your list into like a CSV file and transfer it that way. But I would probably encourage you to get some help from an expert, even if it means spending a bit of money. I would do it that way because you'll get better results and you not messing with any kind of getting your account throttled and that kind of stuff.
Sounds good. All right, Michael, we got anything else? Or are we about ready to wrap up?
No, we just got a response that this was great, and the person's developer, Barb's developer, installed MailChimp, and she appreciated our response to the paid version, not the free version. So your developer did really good by you, Barb. So that's great good news. So that's all the questions. I think we've wrapped up with the questions. We should wrap up with final thoughts. And John, I know you want to share something too. So.
Yeah, thanks so much, Tim, for coming on and sharing some knowledge with us. I've got a lot of value out of this. There'll be a nice recording of this that we can share and move around with people as well who weren't able to attend live today. So thank you so much and for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. It was a blast.
Awesome. And for you guys that are still on with us here right now, Michael and we are launching our live Hangout Success System for Beginners Bootcamp tomorrow. It'll be a live session at 5 p.m. Pacific. It's going to be a 4-week, 4-part, 4-module boot camp. We're going to do them live, but they'll all be recorded. We'll have all of the stuff. We'll be taking out the MP3s. We'll be giving you the slides in PDF format of all of this content. So if you're looking to do what we're doing right now, which is hosting live webinars via Webinar Jam or even other means like just even doing Google Plus events and stuff like that to help build your list, build an audience. Since we've been doing these, it's been crazy the difference between us just putting out recorded videos versus actually hosting these live and collecting emails and building business. It's been night and day. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to pop that in here. Let's see if it works, and let me know if they can see it. Can you see it, Michael?
I do.
Okay,
Looks like it has worked.
So it does pop in. So anyway, there's the offer right there. There's a button to check it out and check out the offer page. And that's it. We look forward to. We have a lot of fired up people already in the program, and we're ready to take it live and record it and have some awesome content.
We already have some members that are in this Health Jam with us today, including awesome. Barb, who's ready to rock and roll tomorrow. So we can't wait to get started. We're looking forward to this great journey and getting a whole bunch more people rocking it with live hangouts and interviewing great experts. Or debonair, Tim, you were looking quite professorial today. So whatever that blog is that you're checking out, I think it's working for you. I think you need to do more live hangouts when you're on camera. So,
dude,
you can bring the baby boy on with you too. I think that'll just enhance. We'll see how he can help you convert more as well.
Yeah,
So.
I have a feeling if I brought him on a webinar, our conversion rate would be about 110%. People would buy
probably
toys.
Would. People are a sucker for babies and animals, so they all work really well. So we hope that more and more people will join us for the journey. It's going to be a great boot camp. You can check it out by just clicking the button, or just go to hangouts.convert.com. And again, I want to thank you both for such a great show today. And John, take us home.
Yeah, all right, everybody. I think that's it for now. Thank you again, Tim, for coming on and sharing some knowledge with us today. And we'll hope that people check out Lead Pages, and I'll have to check out your text message method. I like that. We're going to have to get into that in the near future here. I think that's a pretty cool way for a podcaster or anybody who's could be to build their list. So awesome stuff. We will see you guys next time.
Bye, everybody.